headset on, his engineer in front. You know, in Formula One, we had a technical problem. Yeah, we know that. The car was upside down on fire with 3 wheels. We know you had a technical problem. NASCAR, it's open. I'm reading the driver's data, listening to his engineer talk to the spotter. And then, of course, they go into the last lap.
Welcome to The Pass, Track Talks, the ultimate traveling podcast for motorsport stories.
We are Nicole and Mattia, and together we wish to narrate the characters of the little big world that we're so passionate about.
We meet the drivers as well as the insiders directly at the racetracks, and throughout our unfiltered talks, behind-the-scenes anecdotes, pure emotions, and fragments of intense life emerge, together with the universal values that characterize this discipline.
Because in some way, the pass is also about you. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of The Pass, Track Talks. I'm Mattia Livraghi.
I'm Nicole Miotto.
And today we're here in Misano and we have the pleasure of having as our guest Ian Salvestrin.
Thank you, Mattia.
Thanks to you. We're honored and it's also a bit emotional and we will explain why. But first, we need to make a premise.
Yes, because maybe cars could come around. We are not sure what time, but they may come around on the track, and so you may hear the engines in the background.
We think you'll like it, but it's fair to say that there will be a bit of noise sooner or later. And it's fair to say that if you want to enjoy if you like our episodes and you want to enjoy more of them, please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Everything.
TikTok, I was forgetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here for the ACI Racing Weekend. And as I said, we want to start talking immediately with The Voice that for me has been a childhood playlist for the races that I've been listening to and watching with your voice, Ian. So thank you for being here, first of all.
Well, it's a pleasure. But if I can, Mattia, can we redo the welcome?
Yeah, you're much better than me, I know. Because
I think we have an example because you're very good at doing the welcome. Let's first of all hear from the example.
Welcome to the center of the karting universe. Ian Salvestrin, part 2.
You want me to redo it? Or
go for it.
Okay, I'll try, but I'm not as good as you. Welcome to the center of the karting podcast.
You're fantastico. How about welcome to the past Track Talks? You're watching us live with Mattia Livraghi and Nicole La Veneta Miotto.
Okay.
Va bene?
Yeah, you're actually not the guest, you're the presenter today.
If I can, Nicole and Mattia have the past Track Talks. Also here,
official.
If I can. You keep speaking one moment. I'll just...
Yeah, this is the official sticker that we gave Ian just a few moments ago. And he'll surprise us. This is not planned. So let's see what he wants to do now. For who's not watching on YouTube, we will try to explain. Wow.
Okay.
Customized.
What a marketing move.
This is incredible. And it was not planned.
No.
I know that people will not believe this.
Maybe it's a little crooked, but...
Perfect.
We love it. Now, you're the first guest who surprises us like this with the sticker.
Really?
Yeah, but now
this is so everyone subscribes to the past Track Talks with Mattia, Nicole on Insta, Book, Facetube,
everything. You search for the past Track Talks, you'll find it everywhere. The ultimate podcast.
The ultimate podcast, the past Track Talk. I think we've said it enough. Make sure you subscribe.
Everyone has clicked off already.
No. Stay with us. We haven't started yet.
No, but really thank you, because I must say one thing to start with. We are trying to talk about the emotions, the behind the scenes in motorsports. And I think you're a perfect example of how you can convey what is in this sport. So all the emotion, all the human values, and
he's the voice of those emotions.
Yeah, you give voice to something that unfortunately sometimes it's not so easy to see when you're at home. For us who we live it and we're inside here, we see it every day. But unfortunately, people who maybe don't have the same, who are not lucky enough to live it the same way, struggle to see. And we are trying to show this, and you have been doing this for years. So I wanted to start off on the aspect of the emotions. How do you manage to convey those emotions? Sometimes maybe you need to also hold them back, because maybe in your role you also need to know when is the moment to let go and when to stay a bit more controlled. And that really astonishes me, because it must not be easy.
That's a good question, and I have not really thought about that, Mattia. That's a really good question. I guess from 2 points of view, I don't think I could ever narrate or commentate on something that I was unfamiliar with. I don't think I could ever do football, for example, even though I'm, like most of us, a football fan. You'll find that most of the people in this paddock, most mechanics, engineers, team owners, they all raced. I did also. I'm not like you. Easy kart champion of the universe.
Yeah.
We have to say that. Mattia, you did win the Easy Kart Grand Finals in
2013, but I must admit that the Easy Kart International Finals, I came third in that race. I won the national championship 2 times.
There we go.
Although once
So I never won a national championship.
Okay.
I did actually lead the New Zealand championships in 100cc Intercontinental A at Hamilton in New Zealand, which is a fabulous track. It was a 35-lap final. I led
35 laps.
Yeah, I led from lap 1 to 34.
No.
And what happened then?
Yeah, I got passed. So, but anyway,
But you were there.
yeah,
You were there, and then.
Yeah.
But were you runner up, or you were
I
like?
came second.
It still hurts.
No, not really. It was actually, I was happy to be there and race. I did race for 15, 20, like since juniors in Australia back in the 1990s. Can we edit that like very softly?
No, but
which shows my age. But getting back to the point, you must, I believe, you must have experience in what you're doing. This is why to commentate, I don't know, football even we're here at Misano, which is, and I have done a little bit of motor or superbike racing back home, commentary wise, not riding.
Okay.
But it's not my field of expertise, so I would find it a challenge to commentate, not to present, but to commentate on that. So to know what drivers or people in that position are doing, you must know, you must have some sort of experience, as you do, Easy Kart champion of the universe. No, but quite seriously, you must know what the drivers are doing. And also, we've all watched all sorts of racing on TV. We've all been viewers at some time. We've all sworn at the TV at various stages when we haven't agreed with what we've heard. Let's just say that. So it's a combination, and then, of course, of experience.
Wow. I think this is the first important concept, and I wanted to build on that, but I saw Nikki had a question.
Because I was curious, but I think you already answered. When I was thinking of a few questions I could ask you, it was like, would you ever commentate other sports, or have you ever wished to commentate other sports?
I have not really thought about it. Sports, not so. I haven't given a thought. I have done presenting, like music festivals, and yeah, that's really cool.
Always with the welcome.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, one time in Sardinia, which was, I can't remember, it must have been in Italian. That was really cool, but presenting is quite different to commentary. I have not given that much thought. I'll get back to you.
You'll let us know.
In the next episode.
No, but coming back to the emotions and knowing the people, how much of a difference does it make when you see also, for example, now we're in Misano, you're commentating the Formula 4, and probably all of those or many of those kids, you've seen them back in karting. So how much of a difference does that make? And how much also, I don't know if this makes sense, but how much also of a challenge can this be? Because maybe sometimes when you know some people more and others in the field less, it can create some like sort of differences that you need, I think you need to level out. So that's also my curiosity.
I guess to commentate the race, I cannot control what is happening on the circuit. What is happening is my responsibility to narrate or comment. I can't change it. I have no control. I can at best describe the situation and the circumstances, how the drivers, what is occurring, and translate, for want of a better word, what the drivers are doing. This is my role. I can't control. I can't even offer an opinion. It would be unprofessional to. Actually, I won't say that. There's various things that are not professional to say, which I don't. It's merely to purvey or to explain to the viewers who are watching all around the galaxy, various races, what is happening and the information that we get from the broadcast, which the viewers, wherever they are watching, whichever race in the world, to purvey this to the viewers.
Is it difficult to stay neutral? Because I must say, in Italy, sometimes the commentators, I'm sorry, but they're not neutral. When you're watching the biggest races, you can hear they're not neutral, and sometimes it bothers me. But you said it's not difficult. Oh.
If it is a problem to stay neutral, you're in the wrong job, in my humble opinion. I do find it a little bit challenging at times when my friends are doing well in whichever category, in whichever race.
For example, sorry to interrupt you, but if I ever did a race and I was last, you would speak only about me even if I were last, right?
It would be the most difficult race to commentate.
If I had the honour of narrating you winning the Easy Kart Championship of the universe, when they do well, I deliberately make the effort not to overdo it. That's the worst thing. I understand what you're saying, Nicole. So if anything, when my friends do well or are on screen or dominating a race, I actually deliberately tone it down a little bit because I understand what you're saying. And yeah, there's nothing worse. I guess the only exception to that, which may come back to your first question, if I ever ended up hypothetically doing the Olympic Games, which is a patriotic event.
Yeah.
You're both Italian, I'm Australian, so I would proudly
support your country a bit.
Of course, but those broadcasts are generally, they're generally national broadcasts at what is a very nationalistic, patriotic event. So that's quite excusable, in fact, encouraged. Also the Football World Cup.
Yeah.
Sure,
when you beat us, Italy, in the 2006 FIFA World Cup with a controversial penalty in the last minute, which knocked us out.
All the football fans will...
Yeah, Nicole was only like 5 years old at the time. And even though I do have
I
Italian
was
blood.
7.
Oh, 7, okay. But that's a patriotic moment. Motor racing, with the exception of the sadly missed A1GP, which doesn't exist anymore, that's not really the situation. So to answer your question, in a long way, it's not difficult to stay neutral for myself, at least.
It's a job.
It's incredible because you managed to give also like a rational explanation to those things. But I must admit that I believe this sport, as obviously also all the others, but growing up here, I find that the emotion part is really the thing that manages to also to be universal. So that's why we want to talk about emotions, because if I speak about engines or the technical side, maybe only the ones who are so passionate about racing will understand. But if we talk about emotions, I think everyone can understand. So always coming back to the emotions, what was the most emotional episode you had to narrate, or the one where you got most emotional and where it was difficult to hold it a bit back? Because you gave us a very professional view of things, but I think that even such a professional as you have found moments where it was challenging to just stay the professional and not be the passionate person. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well.
I do understand. I'm just trying to think of specific examples. I guess when I have followed a driver from over a long period of time who has struggled and eventually done well and won a race or something in a positive way, I'm trying to think of examples. Paolo De Conto was second in the World Championships 2015 at Le Mans. Jorit Pex passed him on the last lap. Paolo led the whole race.
Yeah, we actually recorded an episode with Paolo, and you will be able to see it on our channel. So, yeah, go on, because I love that story. So, sorry.
He finished second on the last lap. Jorit won the World Championship. Deserved victory. Paolo was devastated for the whole year. He came back the next year in Sweden and won the title, and then a year later in Wackersdorf. So he's two-time world champion. So that was, and Paolo in the press conference, he was devastated. So it was good to see him. That wasn't overly emotional. Again, when friends win, I remember Marcus Armstrong. And in Kristianstad, 2016, Tony Kart Racing Team European Championships, he crashed, he rolled in practice in the heats on Saturday. He came back and won the final the next day. And here's a story. And that was in OK Junior, I think. And Christian won OK Senior.
Lundgaard. Yeah, I remember
both
that.
for Tony Kart or Christian with Award Racing Team. And they both won that day. Christian was crying on the podium. I've still got that photo. Sorry, mate. But he was so emotional. He was actually crying on the podium, so I had to distract him with a question, tell us about the setup of your card or something, and then he clicked back into gear. Now they're both racing together in the IndyCar World Series, two brilliant drivers. So that was really good to see, because Marcus came back from a crash. He was almost in hospital on Saturday, came back and won the final for the Tony Kart Racing Team. Christian won the final also in the OK in the senior category class. Now they're both racing IndyCar. The only time to get emotional, and this has happened once or twice, even now if I think about it. There was a big crash at Adria, 2000 something. I can't remember.
21, if the one I'm thinking about.
Nicola and was it Teresa or Eliška, and from Philippines
Zachary did.
Zach. Yeah, those three. You can see literally goosebumps. I actually thought we had a fatality. Yeah, that was huge, and even got messages like it wasn't me in the crash, but I saw it. And even now I think that was, fortunately they were okay. All three are still racing successfully. That was a dark moment, and also another moment which hits home even a little bit harder because, and I wasn't at this race, but this one's hard. You may remember our friend Elia Epifanio, who raced with us in WSK from Switzerland, and he passed away, not from a racing incident. He passed away from illness very suddenly just over a year ago now, and I speak to his parents all the time, and that one hurts. That really does. That's not a racing incident. So answering your question, the emotion is when something like those incidents happen. In controlling the emotion in terms of a race winner, for me, it doesn't matter if you win the race on Nicole, or it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter which team. It doesn't matter which driver. I have no interest. I'm not a team owner, manager, driver. It doesn't matter which driver wins. For me, it's the same. So I separate the emotion. The only thing is, it's always nice to see variety. I think we all like to see variety in different winners. But in controlling the emotion, it's, okay, like, I guess the only hint is when friends win. Very close friends, I'll disclose, very close friends with the Eichmanns. So when Ian won the WSK Supermaster Series this year, William Collegia also, being an Australian, he won the title. When friends win races, F3 Asia in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, our close friend Pierre-Louis Chauvet, he took the fight right up. We just spoke to him. He took the fight right up to, it was Pierre-Louis or PLC in car 3 and Joe Guan Yu right up until the last race. That was exciting, but for me it doesn't change anything. Okay, Joe's racing F1 now, and deservedly. He's a phenomenal talent, as is Pierre-Louis. Life could have been very different. At the end of the day, I was just commenting the races. It doesn't matter who wins, so it's easy to stay neutral from a professional point of view.
Wow. I admire you, Ian, because you gave us goosebumps now, and I imagine when you live those moments and you're live and you need to speak to the people.
To fill in, because those moments are usually where there's silence and you need to navigate through that. It must not be easy to come up with something to say.
Yeah, because it's always easy when we're at home on the sofa to say, or what is he saying? Or, oh, come on, he should. But then when you're live in that moment, I can't even imagine, because already when we're doing our podcast episodes, we are acting as if this was live, but it's actually not live. So we know that.
What? I thought we were live.
No, sorry. Yeah, it is live. No, but yeah, this is admirable, and I think it's also what you're saying. So of being professional, but at the same time, you also need to feel that emotion. If not, you can't convey it. Because also in those moments that I thank you for opening up like this, I mean, it must be so difficult. And I remember actually very well that race in Adria, because I was watching back at home, and feeling your voice like that, hearing your voice was worrying also for me, because I could hear your voice, that you're always so enthusiastic, and I could hear something a bit broken in your voice, and I was terrified. So that's also the power that as a commentator you have. And do you feel this responsibility?
On that occasion, yes, because obviously they speak, like the broadcast speaks to me, and it's always in Italian, so I'm hearing in Italian and then speaking normally in English. So I was having trouble putting the right thoughts into it. That was a very difficult time. Fortunately, they were fine. But again, I just had to narrate what was happening, and nothing was happening. That was the concern. We didn't put a replay of the incident. We didn't do anything like that, of course. Well, I don't think the image was captured. Again, it comes back to narrating what is on the screen and describing to our viewers around the world what is happening on the circuit. That is the responsibility. The commentator is not the star. The commentator is not the reason people watch. It's not no one's watching me. No one cares. They're watching the drivers. They're watching the players. If it's football, they're watching the athletes, whoever it is. It's the commentators or the presenters' responsibility to describe to the viewers, which is why I believe they shouldn't. You asked before about the commentary box or in camera, which I'm not a fan of. The only place I've seen them do that well, and they do it well, is Fox in America with NASCAR. And they do it brilliantly. Yeah. But generally, I think it's become more of I'm voicing an opinion here, which I'm hesitant to do. I think it's become more of a fashion statement to try and make people Instagram stars or something. For the commentators, it's not their role. And I will put a point, when NASCAR do it, they do it at the end of stage breaks or under full course yellow. And usually with Kevin and Clint, they're champions, so their opinion counts. They can describe because they've been there. It's the commentator who describes what is being seen on screen.
They have interesting opinions.
Their opinion counts. They've been there and done it. The same as I'm thinking here in Europe with Martin in Sky Sports F1 in England. He was world sports car champion. He won Le Mans. He raced I don't know how many Grand Prix. Davide Valsecchi. Ancora non capisco perché hanno tolto Davide da Sky Sports F1 perché è bravissimo. I'll just repeat that. I do not understand why Sky Sports F1 Italy took away Davide Valsecchi. not only is he just brilliant on camera, he was Lotus F1 test driver. He won Formula 2 championship, or GP2 as it was. His opinion counts because he's been there and done it. Others, and I put myself in this second bracket, have not. Certainly not to that level.
Have raced.
Not to the level of someone like Davide, who's brilliant presenter, commentator in Italian, and has also done in English. His opinion counts, and same with Martin. Even Naomi, who's doing Sky Sports F1, she was actually a decent racer. Her opinion counts. I know she has fans and others, but her opinion counts. Danica in America, Danica Patrick. Brett, she's an IndyCar race winner. Brilliant presenter, brilliant racing driver, despite what the armchair experts might say. So I would happily listen to her opinion. She's been there and done it. And we see the same in football, of course. Ex-players don't always make good TV presenters, commentators. However, their opinion is worth listening to.
This is also a sport, I guess. All the sports, when you have done it, I think you can explain and convey to the people something more. But probably this is even more true in motorsport, because it's such a different dimension when you're there on track.
And also a normal person can't do it.
Yeah,
if
you
I want
can
to
do
play
it,
football, I can go with my friends.
Even if it's
not the same,
sure.
of course. But I can go and experience it. I can't jump in a single-seater car and drive around.
Well, you can do a track day, for example, but I understand what you're saying, Nicole.
Yeah, it's a bit
to race at this level.
More difficult to get the access to do that. And so, I mean, it's really important to have that experience. And how much maybe do you get frustrated when you see, you were speaking about the fact of being Instagram stars. Is it ever frustrating for you to see this, and does it ever happen to say maybe it's so important to describe what is happening and to talk about the drivers, and maybe you say it's a bit of a pity that this isn't done, it doesn't get done, or is it just something you notice and you say, okay, it's like this?
I won't give an opinion on how other broadcasters do their job. That's up to them. I guess in this day and age, 2024, everything is broadcast, everything is recorded, every driver has their own media stuff. If you go back to and you watch broadcasts from the 60s, 70s, 80s, there was one director, one TV presenter, so it was up to that director who may or may not have recorded or put on air a certain driver, a certain car, a certain team. If I go back to when I was a kid in Australia, the biggest race was, I think it still is, I'm not sure, sorry, is the Bathurst 1000, which used to be for Group A touring cars, which was, then it became V8 supercars, and sorry, not to be unpatriotic, but I've sort of lost track a bit. Now there's the Bathurst 12 hour, which is a GT3 race. I love watching those old videos. I still have tapes and videos, and I've watched them thousands of times because it was the race, and there's famous cars now which are being restored and run in historic racing, which were never on camera because it was Channel 7 Sydney back in the day who recorded the Bathurst 1000 and did a phenomenal job. They were incidentally the ones who created Racecam. And if you were a fan, as I was, of a particular car, it was Group A touring cars, so there was fantastic variety, like GT4 or GT3 today perhaps. If the director did not put that car on camera, it was lost to history. It was never, there's no vision of it. In 2024, everything is recorded, every driver in every championship. Look on YouTube now, there'll be video of it somewhere.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like, it's changed so much. Like, even the commentary, I guess. Because, I don't know, who were we talking? We did an episode with a journalist, Andrea Cremonesi,
yeah.
And he was talking to us about the old days, and he said in Monza, in the early days, there were a few cameras.
Yeah, like 7 cameras.
Yeah, and people had to
the gaps.
wait for the cars to get there.
Yes.
And so even the commentary must have changed so much.
Yeah.
Yes. Certainly, from a TV broadcast point of view, circuit commentary for the people here at the circuit. Wow, we're under lights here at Misano, the Italian GT3 Championship.
Oh, look.
We're about
It's
to
Diego
hear.
Bertonelli.
It's Diego
I don't know if
Bertonelli,
we can see
one of
that.
our first guests.
In the 21 Porsche.
I need to take a photo of this. I would text him, but I don't think he has his smartphone on.
Diego
hope
Bertonelli, numero 21.
Wow.
Hey, it's Carrera Cup. Sorry, it's Porsche Carrera Cup.
Yeah, it's Carrera Cup Italia.
One person you will have to, sorry, I'm sideways here, is you will have to have on the past track talks with Mattia Livraghi and Nicole Lavenata Miotto is my Italian colleague Guido Schitone.
He's here.
Yes, because he is commentating Porsche Carrera Cup
Yeah.
Italia.
We actually wanted to...
Look, he's here.
Oh my God.
No way.
Guido is here.
Parliamo di lui.
This is incredible.
He was, I have to say this, Pilota La Rus F1 1987, test driver.
He was the test driver.
Test driver La Rus Formula 1 1987. Our co-commentator in Italian, who incidentally has just walked past. He's someone who has been there since the 80s, commentating for, I think, Italian TV in Formula 1 in the 80s. So he has seen the evolution. Back to your question, Nicole, TV broadcasts, have generally been, I will say, good in top-level championships, whether it's NASCAR in the United States, IndyCar, which is just awesome. Even my home country touring cars as it was in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Italian racing, there's not much of it left that is not in an archive somewhere. Of course, we all know Formula 1.
Yeah.
I guess Formula 3000, Formula 2 in the 80s, 90s was not broadcast so much. But what was broadcast was generally done well. There's some that should be deleted in terms from a broadcast point of view.
Yeah.
People in the wrong position. It's like if I was to commentate ice skating, sumo wrestling. Probably shouldn't have said that because an opportunity may come up. 2024 Paris Olympics. I don't know, but welcome to Paris and the ice skating with I don't know. But people who were not in the right position because commentary has changed, certainly. The Americans, I must add, have always led the way. They're awesome.
How much is it instinctive? How much is commentating instinctive? How much? We were talking before the episode with your colleagues at the WSK Business Lounge, and it was incredible because we were speaking about the fact we would have recorded the episode with you, and we were speaking about how natural you are when talking in the commentary box, which you might say, it's normal, it's your job, but it's not so... How do we say? Maybe there is someone who plans it more. There's someone who is more...
who studies.
Who studies more. So how much do you think it is something that comes out naturally to you?
99%. Obviously, there's preparation for every race. This is the first round of the Italian F4 Championship presented by WSK Promotion. So there's new drivers I have to study and research. Many of them I know. In terms of what is on air, I don't wish to come across as arrogant, but it's something I do. I don't know how or why. Listening to Nicole before, I don't know I don't know how to turn your computer on. I don't know technically. It's not my field. We're all different. My best friends are engineers and mechanics, and I can't weld two nails together without... I'm horrible at some things. We all have our...
I'm horrible too on the technical side. It's all her merit if this goes on air.
But he is the easy card champion of the universe.
He's excused from...
We all have different roles in life.
But I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
When you mention all the results for drivers, do you write them down before the race or do you just remember them?
Mostly remember. There are certain particular, if there is a certain point, for example, this championship, the Italian F4 Championship, we know that Lance won for Prema in 2014, Ralph a year later. Then it was 2016 when Marcus beat Mick at Monza in the last round.
We know
just
it.
know this.
Yeah.
I do like history. I really am fascinated by history. Here at Misano, the track used to run in the other direction, and the European Formula 2 Championship raced here. MotoGP has raced here. I do like history. If you are passionate about something,
I agree so much. Sometimes she's impressed by. I don't have a good memory, but sometimes, or you say it. If not, it seems that I'm like.
No, he remembers everything about karting. Dates,
the numbers of my rivals.
Yeah,
I remember
everything.
And then I repeat it. I am terrible with memory. Like if I meet someone new and they tell me their names, probably 2 minutes later I forgot them. But with my passion, it's always been different. So sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No,
you.
that's if you do any job, if you need, of course, we make notes, we prepare.
Sure.
If you ask anyone in any field, if an extreme example, and I don't put myself in this bracket, if a doctor has to look up a textbook before he operates on your finger, he's probably in the wrong job. And that's an extreme example. Of course, they're, I imagine, being kept up to date. My best friends who are mechanics and welders, they just, with their eyes closed, they could build a roll cage for a race car, or they could replace the differential or change the engine with their eye. They don't need a manual.
That's true. I never thought about it like this.
But we're all different. I can't do their job. The wheels would fall off before they wouldn't get to the first corner because the car would fall apart by the end of pit lane.
But with regard to jobs, I always like to say that in addition to being the easy car champion of the universe, I'm still a driver, even if I'm not racing as much. And actually, this year is the first year where I'm really afraid to say it, but I don't know if I will manage to do our one race at least.
For sure.
Okay, let's hope. But I like to say that now the Porsche. No, I will let Ian tell what's happening.
No. You were saying it's the first year potentially.
Yeah, it's the first year potentially where maybe I will not race, but I still consider myself a driver because I feel this inside. I always lived my life. I don't want to speak about me, sorry, but I just wanted to tell that in my mentality, my lifestyle, I always feel a driver. And also doing this, the podcast, I always say I'm a driver who does the podcast, not a podcaster who sometimes does the driver. Okay. Well, anyway, do you feel, having been a driver too, that commentating and driving have some common traits? Or is this a stupid question?
It's not a stupid question. I don't think, from my point of view, no. I don't think. When I did race, if I can boast for a moment,
yes.
And we do have a photo to look at here. We have to go back to 2001, which shows my age, embarrassingly, at Sepang in Malaysia, third in the Malaysian Grand Prix in Formula A 100cc. It was the highlight. Wow. And I already told you about coming second in New Zealand.
Formula
I didn't win. I didn't care. I never had... every sports person, they have to win. Like, I came third in that race. I have the trophy from that somewhere at my mum's place.
We want to see it.
Yeah.
The trophy, I don't know. We've just got this photo to show you. I came third. That was like a victory. I didn't care. And I came from grid 12. I'm not the greatest. I didn't care. I never had the passion, the desire to win. I love to compete. It was great. It was fantastic to compete, but to win, I could care less. I never had that passion or drive as a driver. But now to do commentary, yeah, it has to be the best. It has to be perfect. I hate making errors. This is perhaps the only similarity. This is where it has to be the absolute best. So the drive, which every driver, 99% of drivers, with the exception perhaps of gentlemen drivers who do it recreationally, they want to win, they have to win, they have that fighting desire, which a good racing driver, I never had that. But
That's
now to do my
crazy.
job now, hate making errors. It has to be the absolute best. So that is the only similarity I have between driving or doing any sport. I never had the passion to win. I didn't care. I just liked driving. But this is where I do have I can't think of the word. Drive.
Yeah, drive.
It's not very clever, not very good use of the English language. The drive to...
Obsession, is it?
Yes.
So do you listen back to your commentary and analyze it?
Sometimes, if I know I've made a mistake, no, I can't. It's just never want to hear it again. I know I've made a mistake. It's like, please delete that from existence. Of course, that's not possible. And I won't tell you, because most people won't know when I've made mistakes or made errors, but I know. And I have a mute button, which I can mute, and usually it's the most obscene words spoken off air because I know I've made a mistake, and it's like I hate. It's like a driver who there's an example. A driver who misses the apex in the first corner. They know they've made a mistake. If I mispronounce a name, or we've all made mistakes, mixed up drivers, or just not done well. I do hate that, and listen to it back, not the mistakes. If it's a good piece, yes, simply to learn from it and do it better next time and improve certain aspects, let's say, for next broadcast of whatever championship or whatever broadcast that may be.
How do you cope with that, though? Because I really... With the fact of making errors sometimes that can happen, because I really empathize or sympathize, I don't know if it's correct in English to say this, like that I really feel you, because I hate making errors too. And I'm quite severe with myself. So they say that I'm like this. I just feel that I should not be making those errors. So this is also like something I'm curious to know, because how do you manage then to say you can go back in time, you can delete it? No,
correct, you can't.
And it's also human to make mistakes.
And that's another similarity with racing, because the thing I always loved about racing, and I always love, is that I'm a very... how do we say it? Perfectionista.
Perfectionist.
Oh, you can say, okay. So when I write or when I do certain things, I say, okay, now I can stay here, check. But when I race, I can't. The lap you do is that lap. It will never come back again. You can do another one, but probably the one that counted was the one before. So, I mean...
Sorry, Mattia, racing happens very quickly. Yeah. You make a mistake in this corner, you're at the next corner before you can blink. So you don't have a chance. So that's possibly a way to overcome it. Unfortunately, in broadcast, you've got a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, or over the summer break or winter break to sort of, no, I actually did that. In racing, it's too quick. You're already at the next corner. Unless you've stuck it in the wall and the car's destroyed and there's $100,000 gone or something, that's another story. Speaking of which, Porsche Carrera Cup Italia out on circuit under lights here at the MotoGP circuit of Misano. You're watching The Pass Track Talks. Don't forget, subscribe.
Commentating live for The Pass, the voice, Ian Salvestrin. This is so crazy for me, because I said, no, it's true. I'm not telling you because, I already told you so many times, like, I love your certain ways of saying, like, welcome, but also all your surnames, like Jumping Jack Doohan, or I love Jeremy the Jet Iglesias, all those things.
Yeah, trademark, by the way, Dynamite Dino Beganovic, or of course the Jamaican sensation,
Alex Fowler, that we
who's
had
racing
him.
here this weekend,
and that
possibly the most famous. I have never been to South America. I don't speak Portuguese, but we know Os Meninos do Brasil, the boys from Brazil. Yeah. I don't know, what was your question?
How do you come up with those amazing things?
don't know. I think if you tried to, so many drivers, can you make a nickname? Make a nickname.
I asked
you can't
him
do this.
to make a nickname for me.
Easy car champion of the universe. Actually, let's go back. This is the final time. When you did win that title, your mechanic, I only found this out yesterday, was the great 5-time world champion, Gianluca Beggio.
He needs to come at this podcast too.
Yeah. I was actually at Marienburg in Belgium, again showing my age, when he won the 2000 Formula C World Championship, his last Formula C World Championship. Ennio Gandolfi, Team BRM, was in the lead until the penultimate lap down into turn 1. Beggio, who was just brilliant, probably one of the greatest ever in gearbox racing, along with the likes of Alessandro Piccini, more recently Marco Ardigo, Jonathan Tonon, Gabriele Tarquini, if we go back in time. Anyway, Beggio won 5 world championships. I'm missing a couple of superstar drivers. Pulled out, penultimate lap, and won his 5th world championship. He was your mechanic. That's legendary.
That's an honor, yeah. That's amazing to think about it.
The great Gianluca Beggio.
Yeah, and in addition to all the things he taught me, like for racing, he was also really like a second father in that period of time. Wow. So I'm really grateful to him, and we still have a very nice relationship, even if many years passed. But very good memories and an honor. Unfortunately for him, he had to have me as a driver, but no. But I want to thank you, because this is really incredible for us to live this, and it's kind of crazy also in some sense. So I ask you, what is the craziest thing you found yourself commentating, or the craziest thing that happened in motorsport to you, or one of the many?
Straight away, in fact, we've got vision of this.
Has to back out of the throttle to keep the car straight. What on earth? Sorry, flashbacks of Silverstone 2003, Hockenheim a few years ago. Let's go back to the battle for the front. A bizarre moment as Mansell sends it up the inside. He's gone through and taken the lead. The red flag is out.
Yeah, red flag out. Red
what
flag out.
Earth?
Incredible moment. I mean, obviously we saw someone walking across the circuit. Red flag is out, folks.
Red Bull Ring, 2000, I think it was 22. They have a track curfew. They have a time limit curfew at 5 p.m. I think it's noise limit. The most beautiful circuit in Europe, the Red Bull Ring in Austria at Spielberg. Euro Formula, fantastic cars, just magnificent racing cars. Must have been the 2022 championship. It was 4:58 p.m. It was race 2 on Saturday or race 3 on Sunday. I can't remember. 4:58 p.m. Old mate Hans Fritz decides it's beer o'clock. So he knocks off, wanders onto a live racetrack when I think there was Christian Mansell, Oliver Goethe are coming up the hill at 250 k's an hour, 130 miles an hour. And here's old mate Hans Fritz. He's knocked off for the day, walking on front of a live race circuit because he was watching the clock, which was obviously 2 minutes too fast, and decides, that's it, boys. I'm going for a beer and a bratwurst. And of course, the safety car immediately. That was just, it was reminiscent of Hockenheim back in the day in Silverstone 2000 something, when the crazy Irish priest who had issues walked onto the circuit. It was exactly like that, deja vu. So that was quite a shock. That was not good. No one hit him. He made it to the pub for a beer and a bratwurst. So,
but wait, I'm afraid because I lost a bit. You were commentating the race.
Yes, it was live on air. You just saw. Let's take a look at the replay.
Has to back out of the throttle to keep the car straight. What on earth? Sorry, flashbacks of Silverstone 2003, Hockenheim a few years ago.
Wow. Wow. I can't say anything else.
Most experiences have been positive. Directors these days are quite good at not showing things which are too negative. Most things in motorsport, which is why we watch sport in general, most things are quite positive.
Yeah.
What is the part you like the most about commentating, or what you like to narrate the most? Like
a top level WSK direct drive OK race, unbelievable. When you have and the best racing drivers in the world are in world karting, like it is absolutely ferocious, absolutely ruthless. What we've seen in WSK world karting, when you have like 4 drivers just on the absolute ragged edge, look, goosebumps right now, breve di ora, when it is a spectacular race like that, and then the driver in like 7th is 6th, 5th, 4th, and wins the race 2 corners from home. It's just, and those karts are missiles. These are nothing like rental karts for people not familiar with top level karting. Top level WSK karting is just spectacular. We all know Formula One is supposedly the most popular series in the world, with respect to our friends in the United States, because I have to say again, NASCAR is absolutely freaking awesome. Top level karting, leave the popularity aside, and don't discount the number of people that do watch the broadcast. It is huge at times, certainly live. But when you have just a brilliant race, we do have other races which can be boring. I mean, we have football games that finish after 90 minutes, 0-0. So it happens in sport.
Sure.
A good level, a top level, in any category. If it's a good, absolute on the limit race, if it's a good circuit, if it's well run, well managed, it's just brilliant. And I do enjoy narrating that well, or trying to comment the race well, to bring people into the race as though they're right there at the circuit. This is my role. That answers an earlier question, to bring people watching on live at home as if they are at the circuit. I'll do my best to do that.
You do it very well.
Grazie, Nico.
No, it's true.
We try.
If we ask you here like this, the one of the most amazing races you've commentated, I don't want to say the one because maybe it's a bit difficult, but now the first one that comes up in your mind.
We had a Formula Regional race 2019. Formula Regional is notoriously hard to pass, and at the time they did not have the push to pass. It must have been 2019 when Frederick won the series. For whatever reason, Red Bull Ring again. It was spectacular. It was Igor Fraga who smashed into the back of Frederick at the top of the hill. Enzo was there. Fittipaldi came second. Frederick won the race. He was off in the gravel in the first corner. David Schumacher, sorry, I should say these drivers' surnames. Ollie Caldwell was in it. Enzo, David, Marcus Siebert. Frederick won the race. That was a spectacular race. That was really good. Some of the top-level WSK karting we've had is just unbeatable. It is the most spectacular in terms of an event, a spectacle, motor races you will see when you have 9 brilliant drivers capable of taking victory, and they're absolutely on the edge. These are missiles, these karts. At Sano earlier in the year, WSK Supermaster Series, not the gearbox karts, 141, 142 kilometers an hour. The gearbox karts 157, 158. Like, these are fast. We had a race at La Conca last year, I think it was, 2 years ago, just to explain to our viewers how brutal these machines are. I think there was something like 11, turn 6, La Conca, you know it. There was something like 6 drivers with broken ribs just from the G-forces, just from...
Because then when it gets
just
grippy,
being belted, the grip
God.
was just incredible. And rib protectors, and it is violent. They are
you're so
phenomenal.
close to the ground, no suspensions, you feel everything.
I think there was 11 or 12 drivers with at least fractured or cracked ribs. That's how brutal this competition is. So to narrate that, and then when you get the best drivers come out, there's still a race winner on top. There just might be a few more retirements than normal. Yeah, it's fantastic.
But do you get to enjoy the race, like watching it, Or sometimes you think I have to rewatch it to actually
Fully.
enjoy it.
Good question. You can sense if it's a good race and you enjoy it. I would feel frustrated. I do feel frustrated if I watch another race, another championship, just as a spectator, and it's like, damn, I'd love to be freaking commentating this. This is my race. I want to be doing this.
That was actually something I wanted to ask you.
Regardless of the category,
Yeah.
regardless. I love NASCAR. I went to Daytona last year with friends over there. Man, that's the greatest spectacle I've ever seen in motorsport. Ooh, spectacle in racing. I did not say that. That's, of course, the Indy 500. It's just awesome. Like Daytona, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 live from Daytona under lights, similar to this. Old mate Elon was launching a rocket to Mars. We could see that taking off. I have video of it somewhere. Live on Fox coverage. And there with a team friend driving, headset on, listening to his spotter. Like, stay low, you got the 48 up high, you got the 48 out, stay low. They're wrecking ahead, like, stay low, okay, clear. Like, it's just headset on, his engineer in front. I'm watching his data. You know, in Formula One, we had a technical problem. Yeah, we know that. The car was upside down on fire with 3 wheels. We know you had a technical problem. NASCAR, it's open. I'm reading the driver's data, listening to his engineer talk to the spotter. And then, of course, they go into the last lap. There's 14, 19 drivers that can win the race. And the driver in sort of 16th emerges from turn 3, gets the enormous run on the outside and takes that checkered flag to win. It's like, man, that is unreal. I would love to do that. NASCAR, kart, Formula One, it doesn't matter the category, the show that they can put on that series. I'm getting carried away talking about it, Mattia.
Yeah, but we get carried away listening. That's the thing.
Yeah.
How about the Pass Track Talks live from Daytona next year? That's us. We're there.
We
Go there. You
wish.
commentate the race, and then we do the podcast episodes with all the drivers.
Nah,
And they'd love to. The Americans are
that
awesome
would
with
be
media.
crazy.
We would like to go. It's a bit.
We need a sponsor to get to America.
Okay, this is an appeal. The Pass Track Talks. You're watching us live on various media channels. Surely someone needs to sponsor you, will sponsor you, and get huge value. I think the biggest rating podcast, 86,000 views. So whoever does step up will get good value. They'll get worldwide coverage.
That would be amazing. And we said nothing. Ian Salvestrin said it. So
You need to.
I mean, if Ian Salvestrin says it,
It must be true.
yeah.
I'm not taking a percentage. It's just Mattia. And Nicole, do such a
there's no
fantastic
percentage.
job. Here we are under lights at Misano. They're doing a fantastic job. They need it. They deserve it. At least subscribe.
At least just the subscription button. And Diego Bertonelli is back here. And this is so amazing. You see the mechanics talking to him.
I think
mean-
they're actually yelling at him by the looks of that.
I get distracted by this. How do you manage? Sometimes I would struggle in this, but we already spoke about it, but about being professional. But I mean, there are so many amazing things in this sport, and it's so nice to hear like how you talk about it, and you feel the passion, you feel that you live for this, for those emotions. And so I ask you also, we spoke about the most amazing races. What about the most amazing drivers you saw, the ones who impressed you?
Can of worms. Like, that's what we say in English. Non so in Italiano. Una polemica proprio.
Sure.
Who is the best driver or most impressive?
Yeah, not the best one or the fastest one, just the one that maybe, or the ones if you want to mention more than one.
Has to be plural because there is no answer. There never will be. Who's the best driver? It cannot be compared, but it's a good question. Most impressive. There's probably 25 on the list. And
26 with me.
Of course. Of course.
And you still never...
Bravissimo. Various different categories over time. People say who's the best driver. I think that's a loaded question because being the best driver and the fastest driver
Two
It's
different
not the
things.
two different things. To me, if someone is fast, if they crash every second race, I don't care because they're fast. If you're a good driver but you come a good solid 19th every race, you're never going to be quick. A fast driver, even if they crash, for me, every now and then, that's fine because they're quick.
It's worth it.
Someone who is just lightning quick. Wow. I guess we have to go back in time to my on-track experience. I can't comment for what was before. People talk about, I don't know, Gilles Villeneuve or Keke Rosberg or Mansell. No, I did see him race live.
Really?
I told you I'm old.
No.
Yeah, in America, in Indigo, I was really young, went over
okay,
backpacking
yeah.
with my friend, and yeah, that was awesome. I can't speak of drivers from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s because I wasn't there. More probably in the last 2 decades, 2.5 decades. In various categories, let's start with karting. Oh, this is hard. One of the fastest, and I'm not saying best, one of the fastest drivers I saw in karting was Tony Vilander from Finland.
Okay, yeah.
Freaking hell, he was quick. I never saw Raikkonen in karts. He was apparently both Finnish. There's something about the water. We know that. Yeah, so Kimi he raced for PDB Gillard team. I didn't see Alonso in karts. Vilander was freaking quick. He didn't win the world. He might have won a European Championship once. So many great drivers and a lot of young drivers recently. I'm going to get in trouble by not mentioning. We already spoke about Paolo earlier, 2 times world champion. Italy has produced superstar. I mean, talking to Mike Wilson earlier, who was 6 times world champion. Terry Fullerton, who I've got to know recently, the 1973 world champion, only won world title, but they say he was the greatest kart racer of all time. We spoke about Beggio, who was your mechanic when you won the Beggio 5 times world champion, Alessandro Piccini, Marco Ardigo 3-time world champion, super professional Marco. There's so many. I'm forgetting many. Lewis was good. Lewis in karts, he was freaking good. And a nice guy too. I don't like when I haven't seen him in years and he won't remember me. Lewis was freaking good. He drove for Dino Chiesa. Firstly, Top Kart, CRG, and then the DC1 kart. Cubic, Robert, he was good. He was class. Robert was a damn good driver. So it was good to see him have so much a professional career. Now we are going back in time. Kovalainen was good.
Heikki Kovalainen.
Yeah, he was quick. Finnish. I don't know. It's swimming in the ice in Finland or something. Kovalainen was good. I'm being put on the spot to try and think of those drivers. More recently, one driver really impressive who I really, really rate and now has got a good career and deserves it is Nicholas Nielsen.
I remember him too.
Just
Very
one
well.
of the outright best racing drivers there is, now racing for Ferrari in hypercar and deserves it. Nicholas, just the perfect racing driver. He reminds me, one of my favourite drivers personally, this is just an opinion, I always liked Jensen. I thought I thought he was just class. He won the Euro Championships, Formula Super A in 97. In fact, I got a race to Techno back in Australia because he won the Euro Championships.
Really?
Techno SS22, famous car, rare as hen's teeth now. You can't buy that. Jensen, I thought, was a class driver. He was just, and when he raced Formula One, he won so many races. Rarely did you ever see him crash. He just, he was class. I think he is still racing these days for enjoyment. Jensen was good. Nicholas was like Jensen. Nicholas was good. Giorgio Pantano.
They told me he was so good.
A monster. He did one poor year in F1. People talk about who's the new this, the new that, which is not a sensible question. Giorgio was a phenomenal. He raced for Jordan 2000-something when the car was not good. Giorgio, ask Fernando. Even Fernando will say, yeah, Giorgio was good. He was Formula One looking for the next superstar talent 2 decades ago now. And Giorgio, super guy as well, now running his own car team. F1, they really missed a talent there. Giorgio was... Everyone knows that. Everyone says that.
Karting also.
The stories about him. There was one story which Janek told me, which Dino told me. It was one race, industrial trophy or something at Palma, morning warm-up, and he was camping at the track in the camper, and Dino, come on, get this. I'm telling this story third hand. I was not there. Dino, Giorgio, come on, get out. You got to do the warm-up. And he's like, no, I want to stay asleep and camp it. So missed the morning warm-up. Okay, Formula A, I thought. Intercontinental A.
Formula A.
So like 75 world-class drivers. It's like you missed the warm-up. Okay, things were a bit different back in the 90s. Goes out qualifying, gets pole position by 9/10 of a second. Like this is just raw at the old Palmer circuit, which is now under a Decathlon store, sadly.
Sadly, yes.
Pantano was good. I am missing so many drivers. There are a lot of drivers now who I won't mention because, how do I say, I am involved with them at various levels. I'm trying to speak very carefully here, so it would be improper to speak of them, but let's just say there's a list in the back pocket of 8 or 10 drivers who I'm closely involved with, we might say. And on that, there's 2 or 3 superstars. I'd love to tell you off air, but I can tell you the Formula One grid for 2025, 2026, and 27. We know half of it, and we know the other half as well.
But if you could imagine your like...
sorry, I got carried away there.
Sorry. No, if you could imagine like the best grid to commentate, leveling out age, categories, everything, if you could pick the drivers you would like to commentate.
That's a difficult question.
Could you name a few?
Ruthless drivers. You want drivers who will happily put you into the wall for 17th place without thinking and just not give a damn. Like, they'll cut your throat for a position. You want those type of drivers, but are still good, still intelligent. Obviously, Andrea won our series 2 years ago. And again, I don't want to speak of current drivers. Casper last year, when Andrea beat Alex to the done. This is, of course, these are more recent drivers. I don't want to touch on these for various reasons. Drivers that are just ruthless and just don't give a damn, but not stupid. I always liked Jensen, as I told you. He was
a gentleman, they told me. They tell me that he was a very, very fair racer.
How many times did we see him in any category crash? Rarely. But he was quick. He was freaking quick.
And also knew how to make the moves when it was the right moment.
People like this, people that are intelligent, strong. I guess as a kid, and here's the cliche, I always thought Michael Schumacher was just robotic, just too good. He was. He was too good. He was untouchable. Time goes on though. It's been, when did he win? Like, that was Ferrari in the early 2000s. Okay, he made a comeback, and as Michael Jordan found out, it's hard to make a comeback in any sport. Yeah, when Schumacher was winning, it was just... It's not like Max now in F1 or Lewis a couple of years ago in Mercedes. It was because the cars were more mechanical, they were more alive, and now it's much more... It's different. I'm not saying it's better or worse.
Yeah.
Michael was, remember the race? No, you're too young, damn it. He won in Barcelona and he lost everything but fifth gear for some reason. So, like, you're out. No, he limped around. He only had fourth or fifth gear. There's better F1 historians than me out there. And he came second with fifth gear. Just, you don't do this, like, in a car which is crippled. And he got it. I thought Michael was... And in karting, speaking to people, he won, I wasn't there, 87 Euro champs in Sweden. Actually, Jason Watt, I'm not trying to name drop here, friend of ours from Denmark, he was leading till halfway through or something and crashed. I think it was with Orsini. And Michael comes sailing through and wins the Euro champs. That's on YouTube somewhere.
Really?
Apparently, yes. I've seen bad vision of it, but it exists.
Of old karting races on YouTube. I think I watched so many, but I didn't find
only recently. And you see a young Michael, 87 I reckon it was, podium presentation, and I think it was Gothenburg in Sweden, standing basically on a milk crate. Like, that's the podium. It was the 80s. That was when racing was
so
pure.
Wow.
Drivers, I'm struggling to think of names. I always like Paul Tracy as a fan in America, in IndyCar. And I don't know him personally, but apparently, like, through mutual friends, he's a real decent, no bullshit, straight shooting sort of guy. He's just like a man's man. Like, but I always liked him with Penske team in IndyCar back in the day, in the early 2000s. I was a fan of his. These sort of drivers are just ruthless, but good.
Sort of drivers like the champion of the easy car champion of the universe.
Oh my god.
Those kind of drivers. We all understood now.
Esatto! Bravissimo!
Oh, wow. Thank you, Ian. We would stay here like all the night with this amazing background of the Porsche Carrera Cup Italia. I'm afraid we are about to get towards the end of this episode, but as you know, guests can come back, and we hope Ian will want to come back. Maybe he will say no, I don't want to.
Parliamo di a pleasure. We'll speak about it. No, enough of the easy kart. We will do a race together. How about we do a race together, even an endurance race, and that way you can do the race for the year.
That would be amazing.
Why not?
Let's do this.
Okay,
when?
done.
Where?
You tell me.
If you say things like this, it's like when you say, oh yeah, we will organize a dinner, a night out, and then you never do it. You need to say time, place.
Okay, I just... I told you about my friends Eichmann's with Speedwear.be in Belgium.
Yeah.
I have a photo to show you. Look what they did for me just recently. I have this ready to go.
You're a driver too, like me. You're still a driver.
I have the suit, not the license yet. So, yeah. Okay, done. As soon as possible.
Okay, so we'll keep you updated. But before closing, as usual, we have our traditional last question that I leave the word to Nikki also to explain it.
Yes, because the last question is in regards to our name.
Yes.
Basically, the past.
What is the name? What is the name? Sorry.
The past Track Talks with Mattia Livraghi and Nicole La Veneta Miotto.
Basically.
We found out that Nicole and I are practically second, third cousins because our families distantly, if we go back 100 years.
Invest in this. I think.
Invest or investigate?
Investigate. Sorry. Investigate. Because I am 100% sure some of our relatives know each other. We have to figure this out.
Absolutely. For sure.
Alas.
Siamo Trevigiani. We are from, our families on my father's side is from Treviso in Italy. Mum's side's Aussie. So we are, for sure we are related.
Yeah.
the question, the past track, the name, the past.
Yeah, the past. Basically, we chose it because it's common in both racing and normal life. Basically, racing, obviously, there's a lot of passes. But in normal life, in Italian is a bit easier, but pass, like overcome a fear, overcome a moment of difficulty.
Sopravvi, sì.
Yeah, you sorpassi.
Sì, sì.
And so we always ask our guests what's the past, that moment in their life that they can remember like this, that was a very important moment, a very
where maybe you overcome a fear, or just a very important moment in your life, a happy moment, or something on track because you are a driver too.
Maybe like
it could be both. I mean, the past.
Yeah, we're not talking about motorsport or commentary or TV or nothing like that. Wow. Actually, no. I'll say it hasn't happened yet. Because if we look to the future is bright.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank
it has
you.
not happened.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask then, just to connect to this, what's your dream? If you, I guess we all always dream.
Beyond winning the Easy Car Champion. I'm happy now. I've been with WSK. This is my 10th year, I think. I don't know how many races with WSK we've done. World karting, WSK World Karting, Italian F4. This is our 11th season with Italian F4. We launched Formula Regional. We've done other events to travel the galaxy doing this fantastic job with, I must say, a good advantage of working, or the past decade with WSK is the championships we've done, the drivers we've done. I'd rather do the more intense championships to a top level than some glamorous, we already referred to other championships before, some glamorous where the competition is not so high. The dream, I'm happy with where I am at the moment. Happily live in Spain now for the past 2 years, which is not quite Australia, but it's quite good. Hey, we could all be working in McDonald's from Monday till Friday, 9 to 5, so to speak. I've learnt, because, Nicole, you're just a couple of years younger than me. If you think life's going to go that way, be assured it's going to go that way. So to plan beyond tomorrow.
No sense.
The past, the goal, I think you said, professional point of view.
Whatever.
I don't know. Sorry to disappoint.
No, it's not disappointing. It's not disappointing. It's just that it's nice to see, because it's a bit curious, like you were saying before, that you never had that drive to win races in karting.
Okay.
While now you have that goal to say it must be perfect, and so it can be also in that sense. But it's no answer I was looking for. I was just curious to know your view on things, because actually also for me it changed a bit in the latest years. I think it's better to live life one day at a time with some short-term goals and enjoy it. And then, obviously you have that thing that drives you, but maybe it's not a goal. It's just a passion, or it's the thing you're living in that moment. So this was an incredible track talk with you, Ian. So really, thank you a lot.
It will be a piacere. Thank you. A pleasure.
I wouldn't want to close this, actually, under the lights at the Misano.
Actually, we have to record, and then you can use this. You're watching the past Track Talks with Mattia Livraghi and Nicole La Veneta Miotto. Don't forget to subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We'll see you next time on the past Track Talks. Registrato.
Wow, that's amazing,
Perfect.
but you just missed Spotify. You said YouTube?
Wow.
You know, in my car, and I have my dream car. There's maybe an answer. Spotify, that's this. I still use CDs.
No way.
Yeah, because they work. They don't crash. They cannot be played. I just put the old fashioned.
No
my
Wi-Fi,
dream car
no.
is Hyundai i30.
I
i30
don't
Hyundai
know.
i30.
Which one?
The Hyundai.
The small one.
It's actually a wagon. It's quite. I can fit my bike
No,
in the
that I
back.
don't remember. I don't.
It's
I
like the
can't-
one racing in TCR.
Yeah, it's that one. That's why
If it
I...
gets scratched, I don't
okay.
care. Uses a little bit of petrol. I still use the CDs in that. Maybe there's a bit of a goal to answer. No, actually, my real dream car That's the dream, the goal. So the dream car. Nissan GTR R32, which now is like $100,000, which dominated Group A touring car racing. It's 30 years old. To I guess have one of those and do the odd speed trial or track day or something, that would be awesome. But they're collector's items now. The R32, it like revolutionized. It killed the Ford Sierra in Group A touring car racing and the M3. So yeah, there's a goal.
There's
See?
unexpected. No, wow. What can we say if not thank you very much, Ian?
Thank you, Mattia.
I
And
don't know.
Nicole.
Thank you, Nikki too. Thank you to all the Misano World Circuit entitled to the great Marco Simoncelli. We have his photos in front. You cannot see them, but
We are actually in the room
dedicated,
named
entitled,
him.
to him. It's a really emotional place for a really emotional chat on a really emotional sport. So thank you to all the staff, the press room staff that
Gave us this space.
they welcomed us here, and so thank you to all the circuit, to the ACI Racing Weekend staff, to the WSK staff, to Ian again, to Diego,
and to everyone who's watching this.
To everyone who's watching, and remember to subscribe, to follow us, and thank you, and bye from Mattia.
Nicole?
Grazie, arrivederci. Goodbye.
See you at the next The Pass.
See you next time on The Pass Track Talks with Mattia Livraghi and Nicole Miotto on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Is that it?
TikTok.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
guys. See you at the next Track Talk.
Bye.
Because in some way, the past is also about you.